Vegas exploded with energy as the 2025 PBR Camping World Team Series Championship stormed into T-Mobile Arena, unleashing 3 days of chaos, upsets, and brutal bull riding warfare. The Carolina Cowboys took their first title, crushing Missouri Thunder 242.5 to 177.75. Here are the 10 wildest wrecks that shook this epic championship. 10. Sandro Batista versus Tchoupitoulas. Sandro Batista, the 26-year-old Brazilian powerhouse from Alto Paraná, and a protected rider for the Kansas City Outlaws, suffered one of the most violent and quickest buckoffs of the weekend at the 2025 PBR Team Championship. This wreck came against a 1,550-pound bull known as Tchoupitoulas and doomed the Kansas City Outlaws. This wasn't a buckoff, it was a championship gut punch. PBR's team format turns individual wrecks into collective heartbreak. On day 1 at T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Batista climbed the chute third, aiming for a qualified ride, but Tchoupitoulas exploded with zero mercy, slamming Batista into the dirt and leaving him with fresh rib bruising, a painful reminder of why he had recently been on injury reserve. Batista staggered up, helmet off, clutching his side but nodding to the medic. His grit was undeniable, but the damage was done. This early buckoff snowballed. The Outlaws scored just 89.5 total points from a single qualified ride and finished last in the play-in, eliminated before the bracket even heated up. Batista's buckoff was brutal, but what came next would re-aggravate a freshly healed injury and turn the pain up a notch. 9. Guilherme Valleiras versus Dillinger. Guilherme Valleiras, the 24-year-old Brazilian rising star from Pirassununga, São Paulo, and a protected rider for the Oklahoma Wildcatters, entered the 2025 PBR Teams Championship carrying the scars of a season-long injury battle. Earlier in the year, he had been sidelined for 8 weeks with a fractured left tibia and had just returned to the active roster. On day 1, Valleiras drew Dillinger, a legendary 1,650-pound black spinner from JW Heart-bucking bull Whitehorse, infamous for drop spins, tricky ejections, and a 90% buck-off rate across 70-plus Team Series appearances. The ejection came fast and fierce, twisting Valleiras' tibia on the way down for a re-aggravation of the old fracture. He was officially on the bull for 2.34 seconds. This was clearly one of the shortest and most painful outs of the weekend. The beast sent Valleiras crumpling in the dirt, clutching his leg as medics rushed in. Valleiras was carted off on a stretcher. This was his second major leg injury in 4 months. An MRI confirmed a stress fracture reboot and season-ending injury reserve placement. Despite the setback, Oklahoma rallied with 210.75 total points, topping the play-in and advancing to the wildcard bracket before a quarterfinal exit. Valleiras' absence reshuffled the Wildcatters' depth, turning a potential dark horse run into a survival scramble. But first, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash the like and share buttons if you're enjoying the video. 8. Chase Dougherty versus Hoobastank. Chase Dougherty, the 27-year-old Missouri native and a protected depth rider for the Missouri Thunder, squared off against Hoobastank, a 1,600-pound explosive spinner from the Stockyards Championship rodeo outfit. Known for mid-air belly rolls and backward slings, Hoobastank is a bull that has challenged many top riders, and this time, Dougherty became one of its victims. On day 2 of the championship, during a quarterfinal showdown between Missouri Thunder and Florida Freedom, Dougherty nearly hit the 8-second mark, but his ride lasted 6.89 seconds. Hoobastank burst from the chute with ferocious speed, delivering a tight left spin that swelled into a powerful surge of kicks and rolls, testing Dougherty's core strength and balance. At 6.87 seconds, Hoobastank unleashed its signature backward sling, hurling Dougherty over the front end into the dirt just fractions shy of the buzzer. 7. Eduardo Aparecido versus Rock and Roll. Eduardo Aparecido, the 35-year-old Brazilian veteran from Goiânia, Goiás, and a powerhouse for the Arizona Ridge Riders, entered the 2025 PBR Camping World Teams Championship as the team's number 2 rider. He was matched against Rock and Roll, a 1,700-pound adrenaline-fueled spinner from the Weinrich Bucking Bulls Company. On day 2, during Game 4 of the championship, Aparecido was bucked off at 3.45 seconds. Rock and Roll exploded with concert-level chaos, a head toss followed by a mid-kick combo that rocketed Aparecido airborne like a human cannonball, slamming him shoulder first into the arena gate at full force. The ejection was lightning quick and spectacular, leaving Aparecido crumpled against the metal with a separated shoulder. Coach Cody Lambert praised his warrior spirit, but the injury meant 6 weeks on injury reserve, disrupting his preparation for the World Finals. 6. Keyshawn Whitehorse versus Black Cat. Keyshawn Whitehorse, a 28-year-old powerhouse from the Navajo Nation near McCracken Mesa, Utah, is a key rider for the Arizona Ridge Riders. He faced Black Cat, a 1,500-pound stealthy spinner from Chad Berger Bucking Bulls Code, infamous for fade and kick combos and jaw-dropping over the horns flips. Whitehorse felt the full force of those flips firsthand. On day 2, in a quarterfinal matchup against the Texas Rattlers, Black Cat flipped Whitehorse clean over the horns at 4.89 seconds, sending him tumbling across the arena floor. Whitehorse shook off the fall with a defiant fist raised high. No injuries, just a bruised ego worn like a badge of honor. Reflecting on the buck-off, he said, "Black Cat clawed me good. Next time I scratch back." 5. Cassio Dias versus El Chapo. Cassio Dias, the defending 2024 PBR World Champion from San Francisco de Sales, Minas Gerais, Brazil, and a cornerstone rider for the Florida Freedom, made his triumphant return to the 2025 PBR Camping World Teams Championship. He faced El Chapo, a 1,600-pound explosive spinner from Jeff Robinson Bucking Bulls Co., notorious for reverse kicks, mid-air flips, and brutal shoulder stomps. Dias was coming back after a difficult injury-riddled year that included a fractured femur and hand surgery. Sidelined early in the 2025 UTB season, Dias was removed from injury reserve on October 24th and slotted as Florida's number 1 rider, but things didn't go as planned. Before 8 seconds elapsed, he was bucked off, crushing his team's hopes for a perfect season. On day 2 of the 2025 PBR Teams Championship and a quarterfinal against Missouri Thunder, Dias felt the impact of El Chapo's blistering reverse kick. The bull flipped him upside down, culminating in a vicious shoulder stomp on landing. He lasted just 3.94 seconds on the ride. Florida's quarterfinal flameout, which happened to be their first loss all postseason, dropped them to the last chance game. They ended up finishing 5th overall. Coach Jerome Davis lamented, "Cassio's our fire." Today, El Chapo doused it. The upset cleared the path for Carolina's championship and Missouri's runner-up Magic. This next ride lasted longer but didn't change the outcome. It wasn't a qualified ride. 4. Maverick Smith versus Magic Hunter. Maverick Smith, a protected rising star for the Missouri Thunder, capped his breakout 2025 season with a clash with Magic Hunter, a 1,550-pound mystical spinner from the JB Pertuit Bucking Bulls Company, known for head-low drops and evasive left turns. This buck-off took place on day 3 of the 2025 PBR Teams Championship and was in a championship final against the Carolina Cowboys. Smith aimed for a strong ride. He lasted 5.38 seconds before the bull executed a subtle left spin that morphed into a power drop, slinging him off balance. A final head toss sealed the buck-off. This forced a re-ride on Velvet Revolver, but Smith couldn't conquer this bull either, bucked off in 2.61 seconds. 3. Grayson Cole versus LA. Grayson Cole brought his signature grit to the championship final of the 2025 PBR Camping World Teams Championship, where he went head-on with LA, a 1,600-pound Urban Fury spinner from the Stay Smith Rodeo Company, notorious for violent head tosses and relentless kicks. On day 3 of the 2025 PBR Teams Championship and a championship final versus the Carolina Cowboys, the Bull LA exploded with a head-low spin that devolved into a frenzy of tosses and kicks, overwhelming Cole's torque despite his early sink. The beast was so aggressive, Cole was able to last just 4.16 seconds. 2. Dener Barbosa versus Mousetrap. Dener Barbosa, the 24-year-old Brazilian dynamo from Paulo de Faria, São Paulo, was slotted as the Cowboys' number 3 riders in their Wildcard Friday opener against the defending champion Austin Gamblers. He drew Mousetrap, a 1,450-pound crafty spinner from the Blake Sharp Bucking Bulls Co.'s notorious for head-low traps and sudden drops. On day 1 of the championship, Barbosa got a harsh lesson in Mousetrap's efficiency. The bull started with a head-low spin that trapped Barbosa early, fading into a drop-toss combo that ejected him mid-whirl. The whole ride was over in just 3.83 seconds. At number 1 is a thigh-stomping near-miss that broke the hearts of the Missouri Thunder's fans. 1. Koltin Hevalow versus Strapper. Koltin Hevalow etched his name deeper into PBR lore during the 2025 PBR Camping World Teams Championship final. He was matched with Strapper, a 1,500-pound explosive black spinner from Chad Burger Bucking Bulls, renowned for reverse spins and thigh-high kicks. The buck-off happened in the final against the Carolina Cowboys on October 26, 2025. Hevalow was determined to make the 8-second mark, but the Bull was just as committed. The Beast detonated with signature savagery, a left-hand reverse spin that slung Hevalow backward, culminating in a thigh-stomping drop just shy of glory. Hevalow landed hard but rose smiling, thigh bruised but spirit unbroken, pumping his fist to the fans. Hevalow was able to sit on the Bull for 6.01 seconds. He had no score and didn't get the option of a re-ride. Speaking about the buck-off, he said, "Strapper strapped me good, 0.99 short, but we strapped on for the fight." So which of these 10 wrecks stands out the most? Kindly tell us in the comments.